Hi, welcome back to Puzzle Run channel. Today we have another Ravensburger puzzle on the table. But as you can see, this one is quite an old copy. So first I want to learn as much as possible about this puzzle. I'm really curious to figure out how old it is. And in the second part of the video, of course, I'm going to assemble it and share the image of the completed puzzle with you. If you're interested as I am, stick around for the investigation, or if you prefer, you can skip ahead to the fun part, the assembly. Alright, let's take a closer look what we have here. First impressions. This copy is surprisingly in good shape. The box is intact, not crushed or heavily damaged. There is a bit of wear on the corners, which is totally normal for a vintage puzzle. And the image on the box has held up well too. It hasn't really lost its color, though maybe the white color on the back of the puzzle isn't bright as it used to be. Another thing I notice is that all the text is in either English or Dutch. For example, 500 pieces is written in both languages. That makes sense since the puzzle is called Alkmaar, which is a city in the Netherlands. I assume this image was taken there. Here's an important clue. It says this puzzle was made in Western Germany. And as you may know, that country doesn't exist anymore. It existed from 1949 until reunification in 1990. So already I know this puzzle is the oldest Ravensburger puzzle I have ever had in my hands. But let's see if we can narrow down the production year. We also see here the reference number for this puzzle, and the size is listed as 49.3 by 36.2 centimeters. It's very precise and very close to the size of modern Ravensburger 500-piece puzzle. On another side of the box, here's our most important piece of information. A copyright symbol with 1973 by Otto Meyer Verlag Ravensburger. That indicates the year of first publication for the image or the puzzle design and the copyright owner's name. But it doesn't necessarily mean this specific copy was made in that year. It could have been republished later, so I have to keep digging more. For my research, I first tried a reverse image search in internet. I didn't find exact puzzle box, but I did find the same image in a Reddit post. That box was slightly different with a different puzzle number. From there, I looked deeper and I found another page showing the same box as the Reddit one, and it claimed that puzzle was from 1969. Now we are getting somewhere. The most important detail was discovering that this puzzle was part of the worldwide series. I managed to find a dedicated Jigsaw wiki page about this series, which helped a lot. The first puzzles in the worldwide series came out in 1968 or 69, with item numbers starting in 15,000s. Later in 1972 or 73, Ravensburger re-released puzzles in this series with new numbers starting with 6 to 5, like mine. The puzzle box design slightly changed too, but unfortunately the wiki page didn't have an image of the Alkmaar puzzle, only the other designs from 1968. I could have stopped here, but I was determined to figure this out. So I read more about Ravensburger's history and learned some useful facts. For example, the blue triangle logo with the white Ravensburger lettering was officially registered in 1974 and has been used ever since. That confirms this puzzle was produced sometime after 1974. On the box corner, you will see it says Otto Meyer Benelux BV Amersfoort. Otto Meyer was Ravensburger's founder, and Benelux BV refers to the regional office for Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Amersfoort is a city in the Netherlands where this branch was based. This branding was used from 60s up until the early 90s, so not much helping in narrowing down the date. I even tried decoding the puzzle number. The first three digits, 625, indicates the category like cities or landscapes. The middle digit 5 represents the piece count, like 500 pieces in this case, and the last part is the puzzle's unique code. Finally, the last clue was the orange stripe along the side of the triangle logo. This logo style was used between late 70s and early 80s, and it was phased out around 1985. So, while I couldn't pin down the exact production year, I can confidently say this puzzle was made sometime between 1978 and 1984. And honestly, I learned a lot during this little investigation, and knowing the approximate date is good enough for me. Okay, I hope that wasn't too boring for you, because now we can finally move on to the puzzle itself. Firstly, let's check out the pieces. Oh, I already see some unusual pieces shapes here. Let's take a closer look. Here are a few examples of shapes you won't find in modern Ravensburger puzzles. Some of these reminds me of Educa puzzles, which people sometimes complain about. But honestly, these odd cuts might actually help you finding a matching piece faster. Although I get it, it can be annoying when two pieces don't interlock. That said, the pieces themselves are very sturdy, you can't bend them easily, and I really like that. The image look a little bit blurry, but for such an old puzzle I'm not surprised. Let's see how it looks like once it's fully assembled. Of course, I'm going to try speed puzzling this one, but carefully, so I don't damage any pieces. While flipping them, I noticed a lot of interesting shapes, and these pieces actually feel nice in my hands. This time I don't have strict strategy. There are several distinct sections in the image that stand out from each other, so it shouldn't be too difficult. I am just going to enjoy the process, so let's roll the time lapse. Before I forget, let me tell you about the image itself. I was curious what those yellow things were. Well, it's a cheese. This photo shows the famous cheese market in Alkmaar, a tradition dating all the way back to 1593. Cheese carriers dressed in white run in pairs carrying the wooden barrows loaded with cheese rounds. It's a classic, iconic scene from the Alkmaar cheese market. one you will see in postcards, puzzles, and guidebooks about the Netherlands. And there is a final piece. That went really smoothly and easily. I was a little worried this old puzzle might be missing pieces, but thankfully it was complete. I'm genuinely happy with this one. Honestly, you wouldn't immediately guess this puzzle is over 40 years old. Sure, if you look closely, the image isn't as sharp as modern Ravensburger puzzles, but even today some brands have similar image quality, and those unusual piece shapes made it even more fun to complete. And surprisingly, it holds together as well, as you can see. So, this was officially the oldest puzzle in my collection, and I have to admit I was positively surprised. Before starting, I thought it might be a boring old puzzle, but after completing it, I can happily say the opposite. It was great fun. And now, a question for you. Do you have any vintage puzzles in your collections, and do you enjoy them? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!